Hello, this is Mr. Buffington, and today we are going to be looking at the expanded form of a number and talking quite a bit about place values. So you can expect that we will talk about expanded form and place values, and as always, practice, 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 practice. All right, let's talk about expanded form. The expanded form of a number is basically adding up the numbers to make a larger number. It's a lot like adding. Actually, that sounds sort of easy, but don't worry, it's actually easier than easy. Let me show you. The expanded form of a number looks like this: 4,000 plus 300 plus 60 plus 7. And you're asked to write it in standard form. Standard form is just the normal way that you write a number, so you can just add up the numbers and write 4,367. Now, this is the easiest case scenario, where you just throw down the numbers 4, 3, 6, 7. Boom, they just go in order and it works. Now, I'm going to show you some more examples where it doesn't work out quite this easily, but you can see this is kind of the easiest form of adding because you're adding numbers plus 0. And I'll show you that in a second, how that lines up. And so here's an example of 50,000 plus 2,000 plus 9. Now, when I add numbers like this up, I like to line them up vertically in this way: 50,000 plus 2,000 plus 9. If I'm going to actually add them up, this is the way I would do it. And then notice, your adding is actually just writing down the numbers. Look, 5 goes down there, 2 goes down there, 9 goes down there, and then we just have to remember the zeros. Boom. And we're done. So we're not actually adding anything up. We're just putting in these numbers where they fit. 5 is in the 10,000s column because it's 50,000. 2 is in the thousands column, and 9 is in the ones column, or the units column. Now it's time for you to practice. I want you to write this number in standard form: 40,000 plus 300 plus 20. Pause the recording and try that out. Hey, welcome back. Here it is written vertically for you. Bring the 4 down, bring the 3 down, bring the 2 down, fill in the zeros. Boom. That's how you do it. It should be this quick. Writing numbers from expanded form into standard form should be pretty quick. The only difference here that we might get is when we're working with decimals. Decimals do tend to throw things off, but I'm going to show you that they work exactly the same way as any other normal number. Let's look at this. 8,000 plus 0.3, which is 3/10, plus 0.07, which is 7/100. I'm going to write them down vertically like this. I'm going to, when I line them up like this is the trick that throws some people off. Notice my 8,000, I put 8,000.00. I wanted to do that to make sure that the number 8,000 had just as many decimal places, or numbers on the right of the decimal, as all the other numbers. 0.3 became 0.30. Again, that was just so that I could line up my decimals for adding. Now that I have the decimals all lined up, I'm bringing down the 8. I'm bringing down the 3. I'm bringing down the 7. I'm not forgetting to fill in my zeros. And it's done. So it's the same steps. The only difference is that you have to line up the decimals before you add them up. Your turn to practice. I want you to try this one out. 5,000 plus 2 plus 4 hundredths. Go for it. Did you line it up? Did you remember to line up the decimals, not just the numbers? And then bring the 5 down, the 2 down, the 4 down, and fill in those zeros. Boom. That's it. That's how this works. So your final answer is 5,002 and 4 hundredths. Now, in case you don't like adding, you don't want to add them up, you don't want to line them up, there's an easier way. It's called using a place value chart. So you can make your own place value chart. You can look it up online, screenshot it, and print it out. Or again, just make your own. I'm going to show you how to make your own because I've got a minute and you've got a minute. So let's do it. A place value chart is basically a table built around the decimal place. So to the left of the decimal, you would have the ones column, or the units, tens, hundreds, then thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, followed by millions, tens, 10 millions, 100 millions, and billions. So that's it. Those are your place values. If you've never seen anything about place values before, this place value table or place value chart might be a little bit much for a first lesson on place values. I'm assuming that you're coming in sort of knowing the names of the place values. I'm just creating this table basically. On the left, on the right of the decimal, you have tenths, hundredths, thousandths, and 10,000ths. That table's probably good enough. So if you haven't already Google searched it and made a screenshot of your own, you can make a screenshot of this one and use it when you're working with place values. There you go. You're welcome. So now let's actually use this place value to write a number in standard form. Here's my number, 8,000 plus 3 tenths plus 7 hundredths. I would look at each number and say, where does it fit into my place value chart? That is 8 thousandths, thousands, so I would write the 8 down. That is 3 tenths, so I write that down. And 7 hundredths, so I write that down. Just like before, I'm going to fill in those zeros. I fill in all the zeros that are in between my largest number and my smallest number. That's it. I don't need to fill in the thousandths, 10,000ths, or 10,000s up to billions. I don't need that. My final answer is 8,037 hundredths. That's it. That's the end. So using a place value chart, you eliminate the need to actually add up the numbers. Your turn. I want you to use the place value chart to solve this one. This is 30,000 plus 10 plus 2 thousandths. Go for it. Pause the recording, try that one out. Hey, welcome back. Did you put the 3 in the 10,000s column, the 1 in the tens column, and the 2 in the thousandths? Did you fill in those zeros? Bing, bing, bing. And write down your final answer? That's all there is to it. From now on inside this lesson, we're going to do some practice. We're going to be going from standard form into expanded form and then also going expanded form into standard form. So we're going to have a couple of practice questions going back and forth. We haven't yet done this from standard form into expanded form. So this is where you really get to test whether you understand how to go back and forth. So you are going to write this number, 2,040 and 6 tenths, in expanded form. You can use this place value table here to help you out. Pause the recording, try it out. All right, welcome back. 2 is in the thousands, 2,000. So if you need that, you could use it. 2,000. 4 would go in the tens column if you need that, and 6 would go in the tenths column. Now, I don't need to fill out all the zeros on this. I could if I wanted to, but in the table I'm not going to bother right now. It's mainly understanding that the 2 is in the thousands column, right? So that means it is 2,000. So I'll write that down, 2,000. 40 is in the tens column. This 4 goes in the tens column. That means it represents 4D. So I would write that down, 40. And the 6 in the tenths column is going to go there. So you notice when you write it out in expanded form, knowing the names that are given in the place value table are helpful. 2,000 plus 40 plus 6 tenths. All right, now we're going to do the opposite for our final practice question. You are going to write this in standard form. Go ahead and you can use the place value table or the place value chart. Go. Hey, welcome back. 5 hundredths plus 2 ones plus 8 hundredths. Fill in those zeros for my final answer of 502 and 8 hundredths. Is that the answer you got? If so, great job. So just a quick recap. We talked about expanded form, which would look like this, where we write each number from the place values out. We talked about place values and used our place value chart or the place value table. And practice makes progress. Hope that lesson was helpful for you. Have a wonderful day.